Hi, and welcome to our Moodle training how to create a quiz. Now, this is the following steps that we're going to make sure. Make sure you're on the module, click on edit mode. Once you click on edit mode, you should be able to see the page like that. Scroll down until you find the tile that you desire to click or create your activity or your quiz. In this occasion, we are going to add on module 1 lecturer. Once you click on activity and resource, you will be able to see all the resources and activities that we have in Moodle. Make sure you look for quiz, click on quiz, that will take you to a new page. On this page, make sure you type a name. On this occasion, we are going to use test quiz 1. Then we use a description, a test quiz for academics. As an example, we're going to add this information. Now we're going to see all the settings that comes with the quiz. First one is the timing. Timing will provide an open quiz and a closing date for the quiz. Just make sure that you use both of them, so you tick both of them so you can enable them, and then select the desired date that you want it to be open, and also the one where the quiz is going to be open and closing. Also select the time. Third option is the time limit. If there is going to be a time limit for the questions in the quiz, then you select 30 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour, depending, or on the drop down you also will see weeks, days. Next one is when time expires. This is 3 options where you need to select, and this is the behavior or what is going to happen once the time expires. So if you have selected like 1 hour, then what is going to happen within that hour once the time runs out. Next one is grade. Do not worry on grade category because we don't use grade categories. Grade to pass. This is depending on how many questions you have. Then you will be able to select whether if you have 10 questions and you want for all of them to be correct answered, then you have 10. Or if it is a percentage, then you can actually work on a percentage. Attempts allowed. Initially will be unlimited, but you can have up to 10. Grading methods, again, if you click on the interrogation mark, you will have additional information on how to proceed when on the drop down. Our next one is the layout. This is how the questions are going to behave per page. If you select every questions, that means you will see all the questions within one page. Or if you want to have 2, 3, 4, or any more questions, then just select that one. Our next one is the question behavior. If you want to shuffle the questions, make sure you click or tick or change the drop down into yes or no, and how the questions behave. You have the adaptive mode with feedback and so on. If you want additional information on it, just make sure you click on the integration mark, and then you will be able to find out whether if you need any of those. Now we're going to look at review options. Please make sure that you tick the appropriate ones. Now you have 3 options here: immediately after the attempt, during, later, where the quiz is still open, and after the quiz has been closed. Next setting is appearance. Do not worry about the first option because we don't use currently images for students. Second option is decimal places in grades. This all depends on how many questions you have. So if you have more than 10 questions, then you use 2 decimals, or if you have less than 10 questions, then you use 1 decimal. Again, click on the interrogation mark and it will give you a bit more information on it. Our next one is extra restriction on attempts. This is optional. And our next one is overall feedback. Overall feedback will provide you with a general feedback once the students have completed the questions. What if the student has fully completed and have answered all the questions correct? The option to add in a feedback where if the student needs to repeat the quiz or not. In these occasions, we are going to use on the top correct answer, and on the feedback fail, try again. If you need to add more, make sure you click on the yellow button. Next, group mode. Just make sure that we have different groups. Make sure that once you set up this one, you change this one to separate groups, so this will allow you to see all the groups that has been assigned to your module. Restrict access. Again, if you want to restrict your quiz, then you can use these options I will not recommend to use any of those restrictions, but if you create an additional quiz that you want to use it only for your group, then you will be able to see or will be able to use add restriction. Activity completion, make sure this option has to be changed to show activity as complete when conditions are met, and choose any of these ticks to make sure that you have your proper report once the conditions have completed. Minimum attempts, this is very similar to the ones that we saw on top, that you can put any number on it, but I believe that, well, optional will be unlimited. And then again, expect completion on, just make sure the same date that you have added onto the closing the quiz is the same for expectation of the completion activity at the bottom. So on this occasion, we're going to use the same information that we used on the top, which is the closing date was the 10th of January. For the next two options, there is not much that we can do. Again, they are optional competencies. We might provide a bit information on a different activity and a different training video tutorial. Once you have completed, make sure you click on Save and Return to Course, and then you will be able to see the quiz here. Now click on Edit Mode to turn off editing mode, and then you will be able to see your tile and also the quiz that has been created by. On the quiz, that will take you to this page where you will be able now to add 8 questions to the quiz. Make sure you click on Question Bank. On this occasion, our first step is just to make sure there is a category where we're going to add the questions. So by default, there will be one that have the same name as the name of the quiz. So in this occasion, we're going to use test quiz 1. Once you have selected, you got the options on the questions on the drop down. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new category. On this category, you click on the yellow button. This is really simple. You just type, make sure you use or click or tick your test quiz parent category. Once you have selected, add a name to the category so you know where your questions are going to be placed. Once you have typed the name, make sure you type a description for the category info and click on Add Category. Now we have created a category. Now, our next step is to add questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the category that we have created. Once we have selected the category, we click on Create New Questions. Here you have a small window. You will have a new window here where you will see all the questions that you will be able to add to the quiz. In this occasion, we're going to use a multiple choice question. Tick on it, click on Add, and then you will have the options of creating one. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to add a question name. So in this occasion, we're going to use the same question for the question name and for the question test. As both of them are compulsory, we're going to use the same information. You can play with question name and question test. On this occasion, we're going to use what is the name of the UK capital city. When you scroll down, you will be able to see all the questions. So by default, you will have 4 answers where you can actually input the information. Here you have the option to shuffle the choices. So if you have 4 or more than 4 answers, then you will be able to shuffle them. For the first answer, we're going to type London. How are we find out that this is the correct answer? Make sure that the correct answer is 100%. Rest of the questions, you just leave the option as none. Don't change it to a different percentage, because then that will give you a completed wrong information on the responses. If you need to add feedback onto it, so whether if the the answer that the student have selected is correct, or if the answer is wrong, then again you have the opportunity to add a feedback on it, just to add a bit more information, or if they need to revise any information in order to complete the correct answer. You have an option to work on multiple tries, but I think this is just optional, just to make sure. Once you have completed, click on Save Changes. Now you will be able to see the question that you have created. If you click on Create a new questions, then that will be able to you will be able to create a new question and add it into the question bank. Once you have completed all the questions that you need, go back to the quiz, click on Add Questions. Make sure that you click on the right hand side where it says Add, because you have created a question on the question bank. Click on the question bank. Make sure you select your category on the top. Once you have clicked your category, then you will be able to see the questions. Make sure you tick all the questions and click Add Selected Questions to Quiz. Now we have added into the questions. Make sure that the maximum grade is all depends of how do you want the answers to be completed. If you have 10 questions, then you will add 10 and then save. Make sure you always save. Once you have completed it, click on Quiz. That will take you back into the quiz. Now you will be able to preview the quiz. Here is our complete question that we have created. Now we have that, we have the answers. Then once the answer has been answered, and then click on Continue, that will take you into the file. If you want to check out the results, make sure you click on the result tabs, and then you will be able to select attempts depending on the information and the options that we have here. Select any of these options, and then you will be able to click on Show Report. Once you click on the report, then you will be able to see name of the student, how many questions has been answered, and so on and so on. Unfortunately, because it was actually me who was doing the preview, so there is no data on this one, but once there is data on your actual module, you will be able to see all the responses for all the students. Again, if you want to use a simple way how to upload all the questions, make sure you click on the drop down, click on the import, make sure you use the ACAN format, which is the Word format or the text format, TXT format. Once you have worked on the questions, then you will be able to add. Now, if you follow this procedure, that will make life easier. So all you need to do is make sure that your test is like that, and then you will be able to import all this information. For more information on creating this and for us to provide you with a template, please get in contact with the LRT at globalbanking.ac.uk and we'll be able to help you. Thanks.